Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Without a doubt, one of the best days of Call of Duty I've ever had the pleasure of watching. What a day from start to finish. Cracking matchups, incredible upsets. The crowd was out in force. They were roaring all over the shop. It's just phenomenal stuff. Land Call of Duty with fans, it does not get too much better than this, especially with some of the incredible upsets and series that we did indeed see. Very much intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. These are storylines I'm sure we are going to be talking about for days and weeks to come. Like if you guys enjoy the video, subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate it. Already upside the channel, thank you very much indeed for doing that. As Atlanta FaZe say, the fans have arrived. Of course, they were looking for a great showing in front of the fans. Didn't exactly work out like that. I still cannot quite believe it. As JP Crez says right here, the crowd is so hype, man. I was really impressed about the amount of people here, to be honest. This is like a proper crowd. I thought maybe it'd be like a half attendance or something, but there's a lot of people here. It's great to see. The fans are loud. They finally got the mics figured out, so it's actually pretty loud, at least from the audio side, watching at home as well. We're going to go through 4 series today, and we'll talk about Ultra versus Rokkr tomorrow. But the first series, Los Angeles Thieves versus the Subliners, down there in the lower brackets. Thieves, they get the job done here in the hardpoint. I was really impressed by Thieves, to be honest, this series. All the guys turned up when it was required. John and Drazah, honestly, like as a duo, this is one of the questions, really. Why do you keep playing a Drazah on this checkmate hardpoint where he's obviously so good at it? They win this one and get the job done at the end. Certainly a little bit sketchy. Then in the search and destroy, it was Subliners. I mean, this was an absolutely ridiculous clutch that comes out from Hydra. Honestly, Hydra was by far the shining star of this Subliners series. And, well, we'll look at the stats here in just a second. They make it go all the way to the game 3. In the end, I mean, they get the job done here in the control, and this is actually pretty ridiculous. Slasher gets an assassination. I don't exactly know if he was intending to do this. I imagine not, but over towards this speed point, Slasher comes down behind him, tries to punch well, your man back in the back right here, and ends up assassinating him by accident. Diamondcon actually takes down his teammate before taking down Slasher, but Subliners bounce back and win that map, but then it goes to an Apocalypse hardpoint, an absolutely insane Apocalypse hardpoint. Los Angeles Thieves had a pretty big advantage. New York, I thought we're going to bring this one back. Hydra's making some incredible plays in the hardpoint to just about get the job done, but right at the death, John breaks in and gets a couple of key kills as Team gets caught in the back, and that is enough to close out the series. Like, it was absolutely ridiculous. Hydra went 34 in 20 this final map. You'll have to look at the stats here in just a second. And I mean, look at this, right? Hydra, a 103 kill performance, 1.54 KD for plus 36, and loses the series. Like, get this massive help, to be honest. Certainly one to watch in future seasons, but who knows what that team looks like next season, of course. Los Angeles Thieves move on in the tournament, and well, it's Subliners that bow out 7th through 8th at the major. Not the worst possible placing for them, but still a lot more work to be done for those guys moving into the World Championship not too far away. As Kenny says, the crowd is roaring for that series as they continue to. This is what happened initially, right? FaZe were getting kind of booed, right? Because of course a lot of OpTic fans in the crowd, they were kind of hoping that Seattle would come out and get the job done so that OpTic would get an easier run when they did end up playing them later on in the day. And well, OpTic fans want an easy road to finals, but well, Seattle was certainly not an easy road. These guys have been absolutely out of control. This game one, I mean, straight away, right? Atlanta FaZe on the back foot. I was kind of mind blown at what I was watching. FaZe the other day against Rokkr, okay, did they just what went wrong, right? Seattle Surge, let's just put it this way, they're the bottom team in the entire league. They're the lowest teams in terms of points in the entire of all the teams in the league. They're right at the bottom, and they come up against Seattle Surge, or they come up against Atlanta FaZe, sorry. But well, Seattle Surge were looking like Atlanta FaZe of old, especially the way they played this map number 1. I mean, a Moscow hardpoint to okay, yes, FaZe has been a little bit sketchy as of late in their hardpoints, most certainly, but Surge to come out to win it like this in very comfortable fashion, aBeZy going, a 0.8 KD is not something you see every day, and honestly, I was just incredibly impressed in Classic. Definitely keep your eye on this man throughout the course of the series. From dropping a relatively consistent 0.6, 0.7 online to now dropping this series that he has is honestly mind-blowing. The game 2, though, I mean, well, first of all, this from round 11 stats. Stage 1 to 3, FaZe were 8-1 on Moscow hardpoint. Since then, though, 2-3. It's fallen apart for them somewhat, and well, as Turtle points out to me in the replies right here. But then, okay, we go to a search and destroy. Seattle throw away some rounds, and this is where, okay, FaZe, they came out a little bit slow. They're going to find their groove right here. They win this map pretty comfortably. Go into a control where they're obviously very, very good at control indeed. Close that one out as well on the Garrison, and it feels like, okay, yeah, all things relatively normal considered. I mean, Classic was making some crazy plays in this control, no doubt, to keep them alive, but still, like, FaZe don't tend to lose Garrison controls. They win this one again, especially against Surge. That have been pretty suspect on that map, but it wasn't exactly incredibly convincing. It's not like they steamrolled them, so I was kind of thinking, okay, hang on a second here, lads. The hardpoint has been a little bit dodgy for FaZe still. Let's see what Seattle are going to do going into this map number 4. And this is the thing with Seattle. We've talked all year. They've got the talent. They've got the pieces on their team to do something. They just need to put it all together. And sometimes the crowd, the energy, the you feeling sitting next to your teammates and all this type of stuff, that can just help you get in the zone for a couple of series. And that's certainly what they did right here. FaZe were not playing their best COD, but honestly, they felt somewhat, it seemed like they were somewhat shook, right? They were like, okay, hang on a second, we're losing to Seattle, or at least we're getting close against Seattle. What's going on right here? Things going wrong in their own head, I'm sure. Trying to think exactly what is the issue right now. And well, guess what happens when we go to the next hardpoint? It's Seattle Surge that get the job done. Honestly, remarkable scenes yet again. The crowd, as you can see, was going wild, and here on the raid hardpoint, it was such a close 4-1 down to the end, but there's some great plays from the SMGs, and again, a classic. What a map from him, no doubt. You know, as you can see right here, Octane manages to get the final kill, and Classic takes one down as well, and that closes out the game. They go to a game 5, and from this as well that Maven says, Classic has the worst S&D KD in the entire league a week ago. Of course, he's frying in the game 5 to start off the game, starts off like 6-3 or something, and guess what happens at the end? Goes all the way down to the wire, and Seattle Surge eliminate Atlanta FaZe on standoff search and destroy to take down the series. This I've never seen, honestly, like this entire season. I don't think there's been a bigger upset than this, especially on the main stage in front of fans. So much to talk about here on the coming days. It's absolutely remarkable, the storylines that this creates. The fans are absolutely loving it. It's something like this that we haven't seen in a very long time. Coming into this weekend, we expected, okay, look, yeah, FaZe, they've started in only winners round 1, but they're going to get something happen, and at the very least make the grand finals. They always make the grand finals. Every single time they've played a tournament so far this season, they've made the grand finals, at the very least won 3 of them, and of course lost only one of them to Toronto Ultra back in stage 2. Now they finish losing to Seattle Surge of all teams in 8th position at this major. Can you believe it? $10,000 on the line. Well, that's all they take home at the end of the day. And well, Seattle, of all squads to knock out Atlanta FaZe, they do not win a single series this entire tournament. They they lose to Rokkr first of all, then they lose to Surge straight away. Many questions to be considered for those guys. I'm sure we can dive into most certainly here in the coming days. Some of the crowd reactions as well, absolutely killing it, to be honest, over on this side. COD is live, says Corona, most certainly. It's absolutely beautiful stuff coming out from the crowd as a result of this series. And well, career-saving series literally says Methods, because Classic was absolutely going off. Look at this, right? All the guys on Seattle are negative, apart from Classic, their weakest performing player. 104 kills, 1.14 KD, and well, that is enough to get the job done for this Seattle Surge. Honestly, I'm still mind blown about it. Simp says, right, disappointed everyone, including ourselves, this event. Got to go back to the drawing board for champs and get it together. GG's to Seattle, lost in the last map. And as Arcitys says, just relived the same day as last year. I'm so disappointed. I imagine maybe when he lost to Prestinni when he was on the Huntsman on the Florida Mutineers side, where Prestinni, his twin brother, got the better of him yet again. Honestly, absolutely remarkable scenes. But there are 2 more series to talk about today. The first one was Dallas Empire versus Los Angeles Thieves. Texas Crimsix going absolutely rogue. This honestly, like every single time Crim is on the stage, there's some new meme to be had. And well, there was one before this series and also after the series. This game was absolutely ridiculous as well. Drazah was absolutely going off towards the end. He got a crazy 4-piece just at the death right here, taking down Shotzzy as well to close out the game. But Slasher early on was an absolute monster, even though he said earlier in the day in a tweet he was feeling somewhat under the weather. Alaskan Assassin, it's Drazah, gets the job done in the end. But Dallas Empire really turn it on. Miles right here, his internet dies, so Chance has to do a solo cast. Like, why aren't the casters in the venue? That's a very good question I think you can ask. Then it goes to a game 2, round 11 here on Miami Search and Destroy. And it's Shotzzy, well, Crimsix gets caught, then it's Shotzzy up top AC, gets one, manages to get the second guy off the bomb as well, and wins the round, and John just can't quite get close enough to get that bomb defused at the end of it. So, honestly, pretty incredible that Shotzzy manages to clutch a 1 versus 3 in the round 11 to give themselves a great chance of winning this series. They go to a control and they close that one out as well, but every single map in this series was really close, really back and forth. It was very impressive showing from both teams, and I kind of felt bad for Los Angeles Thieves losing it in the end, but I did kind of expect that Dallas on the whole are probably a slightly more solid team. They win this Chaos and Control, and they take the final map as well. They had a big lead for a time, and Los Angeles Thieves brought a crazy comeback, but Dallas got a nice job done in the end to close out the series and move on to Sunday, where they will play OpTic Chicago, because of course OpTic went on to win the next series of the day. Thieves finished 5th through 6th. Not the worst performance in the world for them, but that does indeed secure that they will be, at the very best in the losers bracket for the World Championship, which of course is where they are going to sit. Crimsix, he's going absolutely rogue. He picks up the mic. I'm sure we'll be looking at some of these highlight clips in the outros of videos for the days to come, most certainly. But this final series of the day, the Green Wall was getting hyped, at least the final series we're going to talk about in this video. Rokkr versus Ultra we'll have to talk about tomorrow. But yes, OpTic versus Seattle Surge. This was OpTic's chance to make Sunday, especially in front of the fans that they had, but it did not start off in the right way. This is the thing with Seattle. What has happened to their hardpoint? Moscow hardpoint has been so good for OpTic, and Seattle just come out and say, yeah, no worries about that, lads. I'm going to go 24-12, says Gunless, and just win the series in a heartbeat. OpTic seems somewhat caught off guard right here, especially because Seattle are no slouches in Search and Destroy. They make mistakes, but they're not exactly easy to bowl over, especially when their hardpoint is looking like this. What happened to Seattle? I don't really know, and big questions there to be asked about the fact that look, they're not going to be at the World Championship, despite beating FaZe and going very much toe-to-toe with OpTic down to the wire in this series. This was absolutely massive from Scump. This game 2, OpTic get a 3-0 edge, Seattle bring it back to 3-3 and you're thinking, oh my god, here we go again, right, OpTic are throwing things away. But Scump cuts down open stairs, takes down Prestinni, takes down Octane as well. Maybe a bit of a misplay from those guys, but look how few bullets Scump had left in the mag. What an incredible 1 versus 2 hit the shots that he hit to close that one out as well. Then the very next round though, Octane gets his own back up by getting us, well, he sticks Scump. I mean, honestly, Scump is such a magnet, it's incredible. Takes down him and Envoy, and then Dashy clutches a great 1 versus 1. Then it goes to round 11, and it's the OpTic guys that close it out in the end. So what a map. They tied up 1-1. Then we go to a control, and well, heating up certainly in the control do the OpTic guys. It really felt at this point, okay, they're catching fire, they're catching momentum. They win well, a very comfortable, well, their 2 defenses are very comfortable. Their offense, they just about close it out, and that is enough to get them over the line in this map, and it felt like in the series as well. And well, as Loony says though, Surge undefeated in hardpoint this major, and guess what? They've only gone and done it again. They beat OpTic again on a raid hardpoint. It was a very close one. OpTic just lost like 1 or 2 key rotations. There was one time where they were trying to break garage, and there was like 3 guys there in gym, and it was a perfect opportunity for them to break into garage and well, get pretty much all of that time, because the other 2 guys were spawning over out by kitchen. Scump slid in, and they effectively just lined up for Gunless. He took down a couple of them. Octane got the other one, and that pretty much spelt the end of the map, even though the OpTic guys did their best to keep it close down to the wire. And then of course it goes to a game 5, like well, would you have it any other way? But this time OpTic actually get the job done. This was the map where Seattle beat FaZe on, of course, in that round, well, in that game 5 that they beat them on earlier. I'm pretty sure it was around 10 in the end, and this time it's OpTic's turn to get the job done. But Dashy really was the hero of this game. He made some phenomenal plays. Getting streaks as well on standoff is such an important thing, to be honest. If you can get streaks on standoff, that should be good enough to help you close out the game, as indeed it is. Some questionable plays at times, as you can see. There's some cruise that comes in right here, maybe not the best usage of it, but at the end of the day it did allow them to get the bomb down, got them in perfect positions with the ARs to help close out this round, and well, a 5-2 advantage. You don't see OpTic throw those away every so often, and well, they end up closing out the game as well, and understandably everyone is pretty hyped about it. And well, the green wall in the venue finally back in, well, in front of fans of the OpTic guys, and they get the job done for the green wall. As I say right here, no doubt, of course, there's one series still we're going to talk about tomorrow, one of the best days of COD I've seen. FaZe out of the tournament, what a surprise that is. OpTic survived, the crowd are back in action, and well, the new best hardpoint team in the game on LAN at least, Seattle Surge, not going to be at the World Championship. Lots to discuss here, I'm sure, over the coming days. This is how it finishes off, and just to well leave you with the stat sheet on the series, Scump goes well 1.17 for a +12. This guy's been out of control as of late, but it's also Dashy, especially in that game 5, that really came up clutch. Very much intrigued to hear your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm that you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.